Hello, my little pretties. What is up? It's your mistress, Lioness here. And today we are going to do another Disney movie that I'm reviewing today. And this one is a bit different. It is a sequel to one of everyone's favorite childhood movie, which is called The Lion King. King 2, Simba's Pride. Now, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride is the movie we're going to review today. And this is actually the first Disney movie sequel that I'm reviewing on this channel. Now, before we get, onto the review, I'm just going to say right now that this is actually one of my favorite Disney sequels. Alongside with some other ones that I found Return of Jafar to be a pretty decent one at that, and King of Thieves to be a pretty good one. But I honestly thought, why not do another Lion King movie? And that is The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride picks up after, at least right after the first Lion King movie. Now, if you guys have not seen my review on The Lion King, I highly recommend you go check that out, as it's a really good story. Now, today we're going to review this movie, The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. Now, this sequel came out in 1998, and that's the same year I was born in. Well, this one came out at least 2 months after I was born, so I was 2 months old when this came out, as I was born in August, and this one came out in October of 1998. Now, before I get into this movie, I'm going to say right now that I'll be spoiling pretty much everything of The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride. So if you have not seen this sequel yet, I highly recommend you to go check it out, because this is actually one of the best Disney movie sequels. Like, this is actually one of the very few Disney sequels that are good. I know there is a couple of other good ones, but some of them are crap, and they're not good, which if I ever do a review on any of them, it's going to be a really bad review, which, I mean, I'm going to bash it pretty much. Okay. Now, if you guys do not want me to spoil this movie, please get off the video and watch The Lion King 2, Simba's Pride, if you haven't done so already. Most people who grew up in the 90s or was born in the 90s, early 2000s, they should probably already have seen or at least heard of this sequel. This is actually one of the fewer Disney sequels that was ever to be released, quote unquote. Yes, I know this movie is pretty good. It's a good Disney film, actually, to be completely honest. This one is actually one of the best Disney movies I've ever seen. Now, let me get started with what this movie is about. Now, this movie picks off, at the end, close to the end of the first Lion King. Simba and Nala have a cub of their own, which they called her Kiara. Kiara, as a cub, goes off on her own for the first time without her parents, and she meets another cub of the outsiders, and his name is Kovu. Now, Kovu at first didn't like Kiara, but as soon as he got to know her, he started becoming friends with Kiara. But of course, their play date was cut short when Simba jumps out of nowhere and sees what was going on, and he told Kiara that to stay away from the Outlands, and the outsiders are mean. And we get another villain, which is Zira, and basically Zira explains to Simba that her son Kovu was chosen by Scar to be the next in line for the throne to be king. But Simba banished Zira before Kiara was born, so that's another thing that being really taken right there. So, Simba tells Zira to take her cub and get out of the Pride Lands, which she does that, and Simba explains to Kiara that she's part of the circle of life, and that she has to carry on in Simba's place by the time he passes. And he says he's telling her this because he loves her and he doesn't want to lose her. So basically, in this film, Simba is pretty much being an overprotective father of Kiara. So that's basically a moral of what's going on in the story. However, Kiara grows up to be a young adult, and she goes hunting for the first time without anybody. So Simba lets her go off on her own, but realizes that she might go in the Outlands or something. So he hires Timon and Pumbaa to keep an eye on her. Which of course Kiara gets very annoyed at this, and Zira's two other children, Nuka and Vitani, they decide to set the Pride Lands on fire, which they do that to defeat Kiara, but however Kiara tries to escape for the fire, but she passes out due to the smoke. So Kovu, being the chosen one, saves Kiara and brings her back to the Pride Lands. But as soon as Nala and Simba come in, Simba tries to back Kovu off away from Kiara. However, Rafiki said that he saved the king's daughter, and then Kiara said to Simba along with Nala. So basically, Simba lets Kovu be in the Pride Lands, but he does not trust him. So we all know that he does not trust Kovu because Kovu is the outsiders, and he was chosen by Scar to be king. So basically, later on in the film, we see Kovu and Simba going to the Outlands by themselves, or whatever. What happened, when the flames went on. Basically, Simba explains about Scar couldn't understand or anything, and he was killed. So he basically explains about Scar and his death from the first Lion King, and then suddenly Zira comes around with Nuka, Vitani, and the outsider lions, and basically they ambush Simba. Which, of course, after the ambush, Simba gets mad with Kovu for betraying him like that. When all due sincerity, Kovu was not being a part of it, but it was all Zira who wanted her away. So the next scene goes on with Simba, who basically exiles Kovu and tells Kiara that she needs to stay away from Kovu, and that Kovu follows in Scar's footprints and he must follow in his father's. Now, Zira gets mad with Simba, and basically says, "You'll never be Mufasa," and then she goes off to cry, which of course she runs off from the Pride Lands to go find Kovu. So she finds Kovu, and they basically try to go back. So basically, Kiara was convincing Kovu that they have to go back. So Zira and the other outsiders are taking a war on Pride Lands with Simba and his pride. So Simba and Zira are at war. So basically the war is going on between his pride and Zira's pride. Kovu jumps in and same with Kiara to break up the fight, and Kiara tells Simba that she didn't understand something as a kid, and now she does, and she explains, "We are one." And with that said, all the outsiders turned against Zira, and Zira gets mad at this point. So Kiara ends up being plunged into the river with Zira. However, Kiara saves herself from the fall to the river, but Zira ends up refusing Zane Kiara's wisdom and help, so she ends up being killed in the river. So basically, Zira basically dies, and Simba saves his daughter, and they welcome Kovu back in the prides, and they realize they were wrong about Kovu, while Simba mainly was. And a happy ending is being played is that Kiara and Kovu are married, and they've finally been accepted to be the next king and queen of the Pride Lands. Now, that's basically wraps up for The Lion King 2 Simba's Pride. Now, what did I think about this movie? This is actually an amazing and very well made Disney movie. I honestly have to say right now that this one was actually one of my favorite Disney sequels of history. And I could see that the first Lion King was dark, but the second one was honestly just as dark as this one. Well, the first one, but it does not involve Simba getting killed or anything like that. Well, it kind of like have zero plotting to do that, but that doesn't work out. So basically, this movie is honestly really enjoyable, and I highly recommend for kids who haven't seen this movie, they should really watch this movie, as this is actually one of the 90s best Disney sequels that anyone's ever seen. Like, this is actually one of my favorite Disney sequels that I've seen as a kid. And this is actually one of them that was pretty good. Now, I don't have really too many negatives to say about it, but one negative I could say was since Nuka is the oldest, and Kovu is pretty much the youngest and all that, how come Kovu was chosen to be the next in line for the king as a cub and not Nuka? Like, that does not make any sense. And I know a lot of people have been wondering how come Nuka's not chosen for the next king and Kovu was. Like, Kovu was a cub and Nuka was like older or something. Lots of people have been asking, Disney and everyone themselves this. I don't understand why Nuka wasn't chosen to be the next king. Like, I know Nuka was kind of like a dumbass and stuff like that, but there could have been, something else more to Nuka. Now, I could definitely say that, that's probably just maybe Disney want to try something else. I understand that. But that was the only negative that I do have to say was why Nuka wasn't chosen to be the next king and Kovu was. You know, I know it's because Scar chose him, Kovu, but he could have chose Nuka, so that was honestly something I have to say. Like, I know it's a negative, especially for a Disney movie, but I'm willing to let that slide because this is obviously a really good Disney sequel. Now, the animation of this was just as good as the first one. I like the songs in the movies. Like, the songs were just awesome. Like, I love the songs in the movie. I honestly thought the songs were really good. The animation was good. The concept of itself for the whole, movie was good. I like the storyline of how the movie went out, and the voice acting was just amazing. Like, I liked everything about this movie. With that one negative that I'm willing to slide, this is obviously the best Disney movie sequel I ever have seen. And I know there's other ones out there, but I have the feeling that this one is the best. And this one will still be the number one fave Disney movie sequel. Now, for those of you who have not seen this movie, I highly recommend you go check this movie out. For those who have seen this movie, will remember being a kid seeing this movie, which I remembered seeing this movie as a kid. And if you guys have not seen this movie, please go see it if you haven't, as this movie is really, really good, and you will not be disappointed. I was never disappointed when I saw this movie. I honestly found this movie to be quite amazing and good at the same time. Now, like I'm gonna say, my little pretties, this is simply my own personal opinion, and if you disagree with me, that's fine too. We're all entitled to our own opinions regards to this movie, and this is simply my own personal thoughts. My final rating of this movie would have to be a 10 out of 10. It's a great movie, great sequel, excellent concept and all that, excellent storyline, excellent voice acting, excellent excellent songs that are in there, and I do love the sequel to The Lion King. I obviously felt this sequel was really good. Now, anyways, what did you think about this Disney movie sequel? Do you got end this review? Do you agree with me? Do you not? Did you enjoy this movie? Did you not? And also, what we have done personally to help make this movie a lot better. Leave me know what your thoughts are down in the comment section down below. I'm the channel Lioness. Thank you so much for watching today's episode. And if you're brand new here to this channel, be sure you like, comment, and subscribe as I upload videos every single day. Don't forget to ring the bell for notifications to when I upload, so you will not miss an upload. And with that being said, my little pretties, I will be seeing you all next time. Peace out.